everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Sydney Sweeney, one of Hollywood's most talked about young stars, and her heartfelt reaction to the box office performance of her latest film, Christy. The movie didn't quite perform as expected, but Sydney's response has taken over the internet for all the right reasons. She's reminding everyone that success isn't just about numbers. Sometimes it's about creating art that means something. Now, Christy was one of those projects that had a lot of buzz leading up to its release. It was marketed as a grounded psychological drama, something that showcased Sydney in a raw, emotional light, far from the glamorous or comedic roles we've seen her in before. But when the film opened, the numbers just didn't live up to expectations. Critics were mixed, audiences were split, and box office collections trickled in slowly. Still, fans who did watch it praised Sydney's powerful performance, calling it one of her most mature and emotionally layered roles to date. So, when the internet started discussing Christy's failure, Sydney Sweeney decided to step in and address it head-on. In a recent interview, she said, and I quote, "We don't always just make art for numbers. Sometimes we make it because it moves us, because it tells a story we believe in, even if not everyone watches it." That line right there, "We don't always just make art for numbers," has gone viral. Fans have been sharing it on social media, turning it into a message about artistic integrity and courage. Sydney explained that Christy was a deeply personal project for her. She'd been developing it quietly, working not only as the lead actor, but also as one of the producers. She wanted to tell a story about vulnerability, loss, and identity, themes that don't always translate into commercial success, but speak to audiences on a deeper level. For her, the experience of creating the film, connecting with her character, and learning from the process was far more valuable than the box office numbers. It's refreshing to see this kind of honesty from an actor who's often seen in the spotlight for more mainstream roles, whether it's Euphoria, Anyone But You, or Madam Web. Sydney has always been vocal about wanting to challenge herself as an artist. In fact, in another part of her interview, she said, "If we only made films that guaranteed profit, we'd lose so many beautiful, brave stories." And that's so true. Not every film is meant to be a blockbuster. Some are meant to spark emotion, start conversations, and maybe even fail commercially, but succeed creatively. The internet, of course, had mixed reactions. Some people applauded her statement, saying that art should never be defined by financial success. Others argued that it's easy to say that when you're already established in Hollywood. But even her critics admitted one thing: Sydney Sweeney has been taking bold risks lately. From starring in edgy thrillers to producing her own films, she's carving out her own lane, separate from the typical Hollywood formula. Let's not forget that Christy wasn't a big-budget studio movie. It was a smaller, emotionally intense project that required subtlety and patience from its audience. In today's fast-paced entertainment culture, where everyone's chasing franchises and sequels, making a film like Christy takes courage. And Sydney's decision to defend it publicly shows how passionate she is about her craft. In fact, this isn't the first time she's opened up about the challenges of balancing art and business. In previous interviews, she's mentioned how Hollywood often measures success by social media metrics or box office returns, rather than emotional impact or creative effort. By standing up and saying, "We don't always make art for numbers," she's not just defending her film, she's making a statement about the entire industry. It's a reminder that cinema still has room for authenticity, even when it doesn't pay off financially. 1130 to 1300 hours. What's interesting is how her fans have rallied around her since that comment. Twitter, or should we say X, was filled with people saying how much they respected Sydney for taking ownership of her work and not blaming anyone else. Instead of deflecting or staying silent, she faced it with honesty and grace. Some even compared her to early career Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon, actresses who also took creative risks early on, before Hollywood fully recognized their range. At the end of the day, Christy might not have been a financial hit, but it's become a cultural talking point. It's the kind of movie that might age better over time, a film that's remembered not for how much it earned, but for how much it meant. And Sydney's ability to turn a setback into a moment of self-reflection shows just how far she's come as both an artist and a person. So yes, Christy may not have broken records, but Sydney Sweeney's words have broken barriers. She's showing the world that success isn't always measured in dollars. Sometimes it's measured in courage, creativity, and staying true to your heart. And in an industry obsessed with numbers, that's the kind of voice we need. Thanks for watching, and if you agree that art should always come before numbers, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate authenticity and passion in Hollywood. Clapperboard sparkles.